Hey guys, welcome to today's session. I'm just going to give everybody a moment. I can see my microphone was muted on Discord, so I apologize. Welcome guys to today's session. I'm going to give everybody a moment to join, and then we're going to jump straight into the topic of today, which is our weekly welcome session, where we go over any sort of questions that you guys might have. We look at DarwinX Zero from a very bird's eye point of view and a very bird's eye perspective. So as we go through this session, whichever platform that you're watching this stream on, please don't hesitate to put a question in. If it's relevant at that time, I'll stop and answer it. If not, if it's going to be answered later on in the presentation, then I'll wait until that point. How are we doing? CLNCY25. How are we doing? Hope you're all good. Just been asked, is there a giveaway? There's no giveaway in this stream. This is a welcome session where we go over who we are and what we do. Yeah, potentially if you're interested in a giveaway, I can make that happen in another stream, but we'll see about that. Okay, looks like stream's working on all ends, so we're going to jump straight in. My name is Kieran, and I'm head of UK growth and business development here at DarwinX Zero. And if you aren't aware of who we are, DarwinX is a regulated broker and asset manager. We hold regulations by the FCA in the UK, by the CNMV in Spain, and also by the FSA in the Seychelles, for both brokerage and asset management purposes. How we doing, FX Pitfinder? Hope you are good, dude. Appreciate you turning up to all of these sessions. I know it's been a while, but I'm glad you're back here and in the mix. We have over 100 million US dollars invested in the platform by third-party capital. So I think wealth managers, family offices, hedge funds, high net worth clients, etc., etc. And we currently have over 10,000 active strategies on our platform. Our job as a business is to bring investor capital to traders. Now, your job is to perform and show that you can manage that capital. And then we have a marketplace that brings trader and investor together. Now, at this point, you might be wondering, what is DarwinX Zero? And if you don't know who we are the only place where you can become a professional asset manager with zero risk and access third-party investor capital. Now, I say there's zero risk because you don't have to risk your own capital because we're trading in a simulated environment. You don't have to worry about regulatory risks because you come under DarwinX's regulatory cover and umbrella. And you also don't have to worry about doing any extra work because we bring the investors to you via our investor marketplace. Again, all you have to do is perform and trade well. We allow you to develop as a trader and eventually build your own fund. So in a moment, we're going to be going through the roadmap as a trader at DarwinX Zero, and you will see how through the years you can scale and kind of build a new journey every couple of years as you progress to the next phase. And lastly, you can access the service using a live account through DarwinX or with virtual capital with zero risk through DarwinX Zero. The process is the same, it's just a different way of paying for the service and for the infrastructure. Now, the roadmap to becoming a capitalized trader at DarwinX Zero starts with something called the calibration phase. Now, this is something that I go into a little bit more detail on our Thursday sessions where we talk about risk and our risk engine and value at risk, all these sorts of concepts. So for a more in-depth explanation, please attend the Thursday sessions or watch one of our prior sessions on YouTube or X. However, as a brief overview, we do have a proprietary risk engine that monitors every single trader and risk adjusts their positions so that every trader on our platform is operating with the same level of risk exposure. The calibration phase is a short period of time, usually 15 days or 3 weeks, but it can be slightly longer if you trade less frequently or vary your risk size per trade. It's a 3-week period where our risk engine reads your behavior, understands how you act and how much exposure you take in the market, and therefore understands the level of risk adjustment required when your Darwin is created. Your Darwin is an index of your strategy, so it takes all of the same positions and trades that you do, just at a risk-adjusted level. Once your Darwin is created, which always happens on a Monday, you then become open to the next 2 rungs on this ladder. The first one is permanent allocations, which is pretty much what it says on the tin. It's an allocation that sits on your account forever. There's no time expiries, there's no drawdown limits. As soon as you've activated it on your account, it will be there forever, and you can always earn performance fees on that as long as you're hitting new high watermark highs on your account. What that means is you progressively have to keep making money, otherwise you won't keep taking performance fee payouts because it's basically an investment into your long-term success. The next rung on the ladder is the DarwinIA program. Now, the DarwinIA program is split into two tiers. We have silver and we have gold. And basically what this is a monthly leaderboard or a monthly competition between every single trader on our platform. We'll get into gold in a moment, but that's reserved for the elite traders in the Darwinex ecosystem for now. However, let's focus on DarwinIA Silver. So in DarwinIA Silver, you compete with every other trader on the platform in a given month to earn a rating. Your rating is made up of three statistics, which is your current month's return, your previous 5 months return, and your previous drawdown in the past 6 months. So what we're doing is we're taking a look at or kind of a screenshot of your prior 6 months performance and giving you a rating based on other traders' performance to see where you score. Any score over 75 will land you an allocation guaranteed in any given month when you're in DarwinIA Silver. So what that means is if you hit a rating of 75 by the end of the month, you will go into the following month with a 30,000 euro allocation as a minimum. In DarwinIA Silver, you gain allocations on a monthly basis based on your performance and based on your rating. They are cumulative, so they can stack up over time, and they range from 30,000 euros to 375,000 euros. They last for 3 months, but like I say, are cumulative. So after 3 months, if one of your allocations drops off, you might still gain an allocation in the 4th month, therefore cancelling out the drop off of the initial allocation. So it is very much dependent on your performance. Now, once you've hit a few performance objectives, mainly being your track record has to be 8 months long or 8 months old in length, you have to have a minimum return of 20%. And you have to have a return to drawdown of 2.5, which would basically mean if you have a 25% return, your drawdown can be no larger than 10%. If you hit all of those goals, you then get promoted to DarwinIA Gold. Now in DarwinIA Gold, there's a few differences, okay? There's a lot less traders because this is the elite of the elite. Now, in gold, the allocations actually range from 50,000 euros to 500,000 euros. So they are a lot larger, and the scope of large allocations is a lot bigger. And they actually last for 6 months instead of 3 months. So the ability to scale your AUM is massively increased when you're competing in DarwinIA Gold. The difference is, however, you're not rated on those 3 metrics given a rating the same way that you would be in DarwinIA Silver. The only metric that matters on a monthly basis in DarwinIA Gold to gain an allocation is your current month's return. Whoever has the highest return in that given month will get the highest allocation, being 500,000 euros, and so on and so forth. The second highest return, third highest return, and so on. The next rung on the ladder is the investors and prop. Okay, so I don't kind of like the and prop, so let's just call it the investor marketplace. When your Darwin is promoted to DarwinIA Gold, you then become open to investors, which means that any investor who's on the Darwinex investor marketplace will be able to see your Darwin and allocate capital to it. Which means if I log onto the marketplace as an investor and I'm looking where to place my $10, $50, $100,000 investment, I can look at any given trader, and as long as their performance stands out to me, I can allocate that capital as I wish. This is where you kind of become infinitely scalable, only held back by the AUM that Darwinex has, of course, because it's our job to raise capital for that. But this is where you come under our regulatory cover to actually be able to manage investor capital. If you're not aware, if you've not been in this space for too long, it's extremely expensive and extremely difficult to manage investor capital. You have to get licensed. You sometimes, depending on the jurisdiction, have to have a qualification. With the FCA, for example, you would have to lock up capital with the FCA to prove that you're liquid enough to do so. There's a whole range of issues when it comes to managing investor capital. The last rung on the ladder, which has gone live today. So I feel like today's a special moment, but we are doing on Thursday, we are going to be doing a webinar specifically around this topic, which is the Darwinex index or the INDX. This is our hedge fund, and we've designed it to overcome a lot of the issues, that we've seen over the past few years at Darwinex. Now, the index in its most simplistic form, and again, I'll go into this in much more detail on Thursday, but in its most simplistic form, it's our vehicle to invest capital in our top performers. So what we're doing is we're taking the decision away from the investor and we're diversifying the investor's capital automatically. So currently in the index, there's about 100 Darwins allocated. Now, what that means is capital that goes into the index is automatically diluted between all those 100 plus Darwins, meaning that the investor gets a diversified approach to the market and their risk is limited. We have a 5-year track record with this. In fact, there should be a slide in a moment, so I'm gonna withhold some of the details on the index for now, because let me just check it's on here. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. We'll hold off for now. We'll hold off. So as I mentioned, the calibration phase, the trader signs up and pays their initial fee. It takes approximately 3 trading weeks. And as soon as you're promoted from the calibration phase, which isn't a pass or fail assessment, by the way, it's simply for our risk engine to take that period of time and understand how you trade. You then become eligible for allocations afterwards. Permanent allocations, they are an additional add-on. There's no pressure to have one. It's completely down to you as a trader. If you're looking to trade long term and this is something that you want to be doing for years, then of course it makes so much sense, because in 5 years from now, you could still be earning performance fees from that, considering you're still hitting new high watermark highs over time. We have many different plans, some with a growth target and one that's an instant allocation, which I'll go over shortly. And like I say, it's allocated permanently to your account. And the only way that you can lose it, I don't know what's going on my keyboard, sorry. The only way that you can lose it is by cancelling your subscription and therefore cancelling your account with Darwinex Zero. We won't ever take it away, not even for drawdown, time, or breaking any rules. We don't have or enforce trading rules on our traders. Now, here are the different plans. So you have the instant allocation, which is the 0% option, which costs €1,295. And then we have the options with the growth target. Now, what the growth target means is once you've activated this on your account, you would therefore then have to make 5, 10, 15, or 20% on your account before the allocation is activated, which would mean if I paid for the 5% option with a Darwin quote of 100, so I'm basically at break even, let's say, I would need to get to 105 or a 5% return before that 100K is live. From that point onwards, I will be earning performance fees on the allocation. DarwinIA Silver and Gold, again, as I mentioned, they're 2 different levels in a monthly competition, and this works in addition to the investor capital and permanent allocations. The rating-based leaderboard, as you can see on the screen right now, you can see some of the top allocations there, position 1 to 7. It counts your current month's return, your previous 5 months return, and your previous 6 months drawdown. So it is just a snapshot of 6 months performance. Now, the index. Again, I'm super excited for the index. I think it marks a new life for Darwinex. There's now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this session, we are a regulated broker, we are a regulated asset manager, and now we are also a licensed hedge fund. And it's breathing new life into the Darwinex ecosystem. It fixes issues for investors because it's giving investors an already diversified approach to the market, taking away their decision making. They don't have to worry about managing their investments because it's all done in-house by the Darwinex Labs team. It solves issues for traders because it makes sure that their investment is more stable from investors because it's already managed. So an investor won't get shaky boots after a couple of weeks if you go through drawdown. It allows us to bring more capital to the traders, and then it benefits the business because we have another product to offer to both traders and investors. So I'm truly excited about the index. I think it's going to be fantastic. And like I say, I'll be doing at 3 p.m. on Thursday, UK time this week, I will be doing a dedicated session to the Darwinex index. We have thousands of traders with one goal, and now we're building the strongest strategy together. You can see on this slide, we have 5 years worth of performance. So in 2020, the index returned 22%, but that was only 7 months worth of performance. In 2021, it did 51.36%, and so on and so forth. You can see the numbers have been lower over time, however, super stable, and it is a non-directional bias asset, which means we outperform the S&P without the market having to go up. You can see in periods of increased volatility like 2020 and 2021, which is when COVID hit, the index actually flourished, and those were the best performing years, which means that whilst directionally biased assets like the S&P, potentially crypto, maybe gold, these need a specific market condition to increase in value because of risk flows and investor appetite at any given time. The index is based on trading activity, which means it doesn't need a specific market condition to print a positive week, month, day, year. We had a slight dip at the beginning of this year, but it's recovered super nicely, and we're currently sat at about 225% return. I think it might be slightly higher than that now, but this was updated last week. I can see that there's a question from El Refi. I hope I've pronounced that right in the Discord. Apologies if I didn't. They said, after calibration, all will be granted silver, or is there a limitation? Every trader on the platform will compete in silver. The only traders who don't compete in silver are the ones who have been promoted to gold. So it's all included with kind of the service, basically what you're paying for will be to be competing in DarwinIA Silver, yeah. And then what we do is we provide you the opportunity to transition from Darwinex Zero to Darwinex at any time. Now, again, going back to what I said at the beginning, Darwinex is our FCA regulated broker. Now, if you ever decide that you don't want to trade with a subscription-based service, which means you don't want to pay 38 euros a month, but you would rather keep your track record and trade with a live account, you can open an account with our brokerage Darwinex, and we will migrate the track record across for you. So what we will basically do is take the history from your original account at Zero, and we will put it on your account at Darwinex. So there's no loss of track record, which means for you as the trader, you just get the freedom to trade with whichever account that you want, whereas an investor doesn't kind of see a stop and start. XAU Taras has asked how investors can invest into the index through Darwinex.com. So you would have to have an investor account at Darwinex.com. And please, I am going to put a disclaimer, of course, capital is at risk. Past performance is not indicative of future results. But you can open an account on Darwinex.com, open an investor account, and you can invest capital through there. I can share a link to the index afterwards if you're interested, and there is a minimum investment of $10,000, euros, or pounds. Again, taking a look at this graphic, you can see investor capital is kind of the peak of the mountain, which is the goal for any trader, is to scale the AUM to get more capital into their strategy. It doesn't matter to us whether you use Darwinex Zero or Darwinex, because the path is exactly the same. You get access to DarwinIA, permanent allocations, soon coming to Darwinex, which is the only difference. And investor capital is available to both along with the index. It is truly just a difference of how you pay for the service. And Darwinex Zero, of course, you're going to be paying the monthly subscription at Darwinex or Darwinex Classic, as you may hear us throughout the community. Of course, you're going to be paying brokerage fees per trade. So we don't charge a monthly subscription there. But the service is exactly the same. You get all the same metrics, all the same treatment. It's just a personal preference of how you like to trade. Not everybody feels comfortable opening a live account. Some people prefer the freedom and protection of trading a virtual account and monetizing that. But that's completely down to you guys as the clients. We also provide, which I think is a massive part of our ecosystem that people kind of overlook at times, is the trading statistics and insights that we give you about your strategy. Now, I run sessions every week on a Wednesday at 4 p.m. UK time where we go over these metrics, and I do it live for somebody in the session where we go over what's going well, what could be improved, and so on and so forth. And we look at different variables and different statistics that we could potentially exploit to improve a trading strategy or to get rid of things that aren't potentially working. Lastly, we have a fantastic trading community. I think we've got coming up to 10,500 members in the Discord now. We do have a partner program for traders who align with our values and align with our ethics and have a community, whether that be a public community like a YouTube channel or a following on X, for example, or a closed community like a mentorship or a course. We're always looking to partner with people who align with our vision. So if you're interested in becoming a Darwinex Zero partner, please reach out to us at info@darwinexzero.com or direct message one of our social media platforms, or come direct to me on Discord. You'll always find me in the server. I'm the Kieran with a little orange tick next to my name. Send me a DM. It will sit in my DM requests, but I do go through them on a daily basis, so I will get back to you. And then lastly, we have a member get member scheme, which means you can earn 3 months subscription at DarwinX Zero by bringing your friends and your family to the DarwinX Zero family. We are doing a member get member push at the moment as well, where you will earn 20 euros of credits per client that you bring to us. Let me get it up because I want to show you guys. So for this month only, you can earn 20 euros per month in credits for each friend that you refer, up to 100 euros per friend over a 5-month period. So if you bring a friend during July, you'll earn 20 euros a month for the next 5 months or for the next 6 months. For USD users, that's $20 per month, up to $100 as well. Your friends and family will get 25% off their first monthly payment, and they will get their second month for free. And you both have to have an active subscription for the credits to apply. Now, those credits can go towards your subscription, I believe, or a permanent allocation so that you can spend them all within the DarwinX Zero ecosystem. And finally, I just want to say thank you all for attending this session. If you guys have any questions, please post them now, and I'll spend a few minutes going through them. But I really appreciate all you guys attending this session and attending these sessions week in, week out. If it wasn't for you, I'd just be a sad man talking to a camera every week. So we've got a couple of questions. So after calibration, what is the volume of the first temporary allocation granted to us? Not sure I understand what you mean. So after your calibration phase, you're then competing in DarwinIA Silver. You then have to get a rating in any given month of 75 or above to earn your allocation. So then it would be after that first month competing in DarwinIA Silver, if you get a rating, that's when you get your allocation. The size of the allocation depends on the 3 metrics that I gave. So the current month's return, the previous 5 months return, and the previous 6 months drawdown. XAU Tada said, so the money invested in the index is proportionally invested in Darwins who are in gold DarwinIA. So I don't know 100% of every Darwin that's in there, but I would presume that all of the Darwins in there are in gold or have been in gold at some point. But yes, they are invested into or proportionally invested into Darwins. We tend to do it like the top 1% or 0.5 or 0.1% of traders on the platform, but that is dynamic and it can change and will change and does change as performance changes. So if we notice a new trend in a trader's performance and it's heading downwards, we can remove them from the index and replace them with an up and coming trader. And the goal is, as the more AUM comes into it, the more we can dilute the traders with more capital and the more we can push it out to new Darwins. But that is the long-term goal. I can see Priyan says in Instagram, will this PowerPoint be available later on? And will this live be available offline? Yes, it will. All you need to do is head over to our YouTube channel and there is a whole playlist of our previous live streams. So there will be this one and all other live stream that I've ever done and ever do moving forward. So yes, if you sort of missed out on any of this presentation, please feel free to go back onto either our YouTube or our X account, and there will be a recording of this session over there. There's no more questions, so we're going to call it a session for now. We'll be back at 4 p.m. UK time tomorrow to do the strategy development session, which is my favorite session of the week. So I highly recommend all of you to join that, or at least watching the recording of one of those. There's just a question that's come through from Indra. So thank you, Indra, for sending that question. After the calibration phase, I will enter DarwinIA Silver. May I ask how much capital I will trade with in DarwinIA Silver? So you trade with the same account, which is $100,000 from the get-go. So it's $100,000 in your calibration, and you trade that same account for the whole lifetime of you being in DarwinIA Silver or being in DarwinX. Once you're in silver, you have to earn an allocation. So let's say you're trading in silver for a month, and then at the end of that month, you get allocated 30,000 euros. That's held on your Darwin. You just keep trading your $100,000 account, and the trades are replicated on the 30,000 euros. So you don't ever have to adjust your position sizes or change anything. It's all done automatically for you. But you'll always trade that same one account. I hope that's answered your question. And with that, guys, we're going to call it an end to the session. Like I say, we'll be back tomorrow. If you do have any more questions in the meantime, please feel free to reach out to us on social media, or like I say, direct message me on Discord. Just be careful that it is actually me that you're direct messaging, because I do get a lot of fake profiles creating accounts pretending to be me. So always look for the orange tick next to my name in the DarwinX Zero Discord server, and I will always be happy to help. So have a fantastic rest of your evening, guys, and I will see you all in the next session. Peace out.